guys, Enil79 with the Survivalist Mindset here, and today we're going to do a video about the contents of your bug out bag, things you might consider putting into your bug out bag, things you may already have, things that maybe you haven't thought about yet. This bag that I have behind me here and all the contents of it is not complete yet. It's still a work in progress. I think that everything is still a work in progress. I don't think you're ever completely prepared, because when you stop preparing, I think that you set yourself up for failure. I think you can always strive to be better, to have better gear, to just be better prepared overall for anything that you may encounter. But we'll go through this gear back here today, just to give you a little idea of what I keep in the bag. If you watch the bug out bag comparison video, you'll recognize this bag behind me. This is the U.S. Army Molly 2 rucksack and sleep system carrier setup, and it works out great. Everything that I'm showing you here fits in there with room to spare. I could potentially add more items if need be, but we'll go ahead and go over some of this stuff right now. We'll just start right up here. This is a three-piece sleep system, and we'll do a separate review on that at a later time. Then of course we have the rucksack itself, extra pair of pants and a boonie cap, a fleece jacket that I can wear underneath of my jacket if it were to become really cold out, a set of sunglasses. I have real sensitive eyes, guys, and the sun really tears me up. I get sun blind or snow blind or whatever you want to call it real easy, so you might consider a good decent pair of sunglasses. I do have this bright orange vest. Not that I necessarily I'm going to wear it around, but if I need to flag somebody down, if I am in an emergency situation, I have something bright to do that with. Also, you can cut pieces of this off, make fishing lures out of. I can tie straps of it around trees as I'm venturing out into the woods so I can find my way back to camp. All kind of uses for that. A good pair of work gloves, something that fits you in such a way that you still have full use and range of your fingers, but that's leather, that will protect your hands. Nothing worse than getting your hands tore up while you're out in the wilderness, guys. A small fishing kit. I do have an even smaller fishing kit that I'll show you in a later video, attached to the sheath of my knife, in case I'm away from my bag. But there's a small fishing kit, flashlight with some 550 cord wrapped around the handle, extra socks and underwear in a Ziploc baggie so they stay dry. Of course, a little pack of peach flavored cigars, because it's nice to sit around the campfire and have a little something to puff on. A good beanie cap, keep your head warm. Two brand new packages of 50 foot each of 550 cord. This here is a monocular, kind of like a binocular, but just one, and it actually works really well, just for me to kind of see off in the distance if need be. Of course, my entrenching tool, some pruning shears, a foldable, collapsible camp saw, and this particular one has two blades. In case one becomes broken, you have an extra. It's put out by Remington, got it at Walmart on clearance. There's better ones out there, but at the time I chose to go on the cheap, and later on I'll upgrade to a better one if need be. I do have a small kit here that has a sewing kit, a lot of different stuff in here. Here's a survival guide, and the reason I carry this book with me, guys, is not so much to learn how to build a fire, because I should already know that. It's more about, there's a great section in this book about edible plants and edible wildlife, wild growing plants and whatnot, and their medicinal uses, things that maybe you can't cram all that information into your head, and that makes up a big section of this book, so it's real nice to have. Of course, I have my my survival knife. This is the Ontario knife that I did a different review on. Haven't got around to having a new sheath made for me yet. That's definitely very high up on the list of priorities at this point. And of course the S-Wing 24A camp axe, which you've seen in another video. We do have a military canteen and canteen cup. When you get one of these, make sure you get the one that's made in the US. It's real stainless steel. Rothko puts out a knockoff that's really kind of junky. You want one that'll hold up to use in the fire, things of that nature. Of course, we have a rifle. This is my AR-15 and a couple of loaded magazines. With the rifle sitting on there, see if I can zoom in a little better. This bag my mother actually made for me, and inside of it is my tent. It doesn't take up a great deal of space. It can fit in my bag really easily. Inside this zipper is my tent stakes, and then the tent itself. It's just a real small camouflage poncho style tent, but it works really well. You notice this bag here that says Glock. We'll bring this over here for a second. The reason I carry this bag is for wild edibles collecting. But inside of the bag, excuse me, inside of this bag, if I can get it out with one hand, there's a brown hat. And inside of the brown hat is my camping cookware kit. Now I do have a couple of mess kits that I've attempted to use, and I didn't really like them a whole lot. A lot of them are made really thin. The cheap ones are made of aluminum and will crumple up on you. The stainless steel ones are still pretty thin, unless you want to spend a great deal of money putting together a camping mess kit. This kit, I got the whole thing put together for, man, under $5. Stuff that I found at the Goodwill. I have used the heck out of this thick aluminum pot, and man, this thing works great on the campfire. Love the thing. It doesn't weigh hardly anything at all. Real good pot. Then of course a stainless steel bowl that I stole from my wife's mixing bowl set. Shh, don't tell her. But I really enjoy this bowl too. It's stainless steel. It's thick, heavy. I mean, it doesn't weigh a lot, but it's a heavy gauge steel. And I haven't really set it on the fire, but I'm sure I could. I actually use it more to eat out of, to mix up my hot water and oatmeal, ramen noodles, whatever I'm going to do. Then of course we've got a stainless steel enamel baked camp cup, like you've seen available at just about anywhere. Even Walmart carries these things. I got it at the Goodwill for $1. And then I have some spices, some salt, pepper, garlic. Garlic's good for any number of things, guys. I love garlic. And this is some Jack Stack's barbecue meat rub. So in the event of a squirrel or a rabbit finds its way into my pot, I can make that sucker taste just a little bit better. Hey guys, while editing this video, I thought of a question that y'all may be having at this point during the video, and that is, where is all the food? Where are your MREs? Where are your Cliff Bars? Where are your little packets of oatmeal? And I'll answer that question now so it clarifies it for you. I do take those things with me. Right now, they're in another Bugout bag. Like I said, this one's a work in progress. But I choose not to go food heavy. What I mean by that is I'm not going to load this bag to its max with granola bars and fruit snacks and trail mix, because those are things that I can find for myself out in the wild if need be. I have a much greater chance of catching a fish, of shooting a squirrel, or of snaring a rabbit than I do of forging an axe or creating a rifle for myself. So I choose to go tool heavy, and that's what you see in this video. I'm building this bag tool heavy, materials heavy, and not as much food. There will be some food, enough to sustain myself and my family for a day or two. But I think that the food is something, a skill that you can develop that you can get for yourself in the wild. Those are things that you can make. So keep that in mind while you're putting your bag together. It's real easy to stuff gobs and gobs of food in your bag, and the reality of it is, guys, if you have to bug out and you don't know when you're coming home, that food will be gone in a matter of days or weeks, depending how much food you put in, and then you're going to be left with an empty bag and not enough tools and equipment to help you carry on past that point. Also, I wanted to make a quick note of this bag. When I got this bag, I got a very good deal on it at a gun show. It was not put together. All the pieces were new. They were still baggied up, and I had to put this pack together myself. Now, whenever I was in the Army, when I got out of the Army, we were still using the old Alice packs. These weren't around yet, so I had no clue how to do it. There's a lot of trial and error, and it was a very difficult thing to accomplish. So if any of you out there have this bag, whether it be the desert camo or the multicam ACU pattern rather, and you're having difficulties putting it together, or you would like to know how to put it together, leave me a comment or drop me an email at survivalistmindset@live.com, and if I get enough folks that want to see it, I will make a video. I'll tear this thing apart and I'll rebuild it for y'all. I really don't want to do it unless people need to know, just because, boy, it's a real pain. But I will for y'all. If there's any of you that need to know or want to know how to put this pack together, shoot me a line, drop me an email, put it in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Anyways, thanks, and enjoy the rest of the video. We also have in this pouch, we use it for my fire kit. It's good to carry with you a few supplies, just in case you can't effect fire naturally. I do have some cotton balls, some lighters, some matches, some dryer lint, things of that nature in here. Inside of this medicine bottle, I've got some Vaseline-soaked cotton balls. It's always best to start your fire-making process, for example, with the most easily renewed resource. What I'm getting at is, if you can start a fire using a magnifying glass and some crushed up leaves and tinder, and effect yourself an ember, put that into a bird's nest that you've made out of some dry grass, and effect fire that way, that's your first option, because you're not using a non-renewable resource to affect that fire. If that does not work, move on to the next resource that you have the most of, that's the least likely to expire. What I mean by that is the least likely to run out of. For example, if I'm not able to affect fire with a bow drill or with a magnifying glass, I will move to some dryer lint or a little tiny piece of a cotton ball first. If the weather is not permitting, that doesn't work, I may move to a little bit bigger piece of cotton ball. And my fire steel or my magnesium block before I try to light it with a lighter or a match, because my ferrocium rod and my magnesium block, they have more uses in them than this lighter or these matches do. Save these for when I really need it. And lastly, with the Vaseline soaked cotton balls, use those last, because if it's really wet, if it's really windy, if it's snowy, your chances of starting a fire with the Vaseline soaked cotton balls is much greater than your chances of starting a fire with just a regular cotton ball in a bad, nasty, wet situation. So you want to save those. You don't just want to jump to those on a nice, warm spring day when it's dry out and just jump right to the Vaseline soaked fireball, or excuse me, the Vaseline soaked cotton ball. Save those. This is part of maximizing resources, y'all. This is what we were talking about in the first principle of the survivalist mindset, how to maximize your resources. And that right there is a prime example of how you can do just that. Anyhow, this is the gear for the bug-out bag. There are a few things that I haven't got laid out here that would go with me, namely my sidearm. Also, I'm working on finding a a shotgun scabbard, one of the Molly ones that I can attach to the side of my backpack, so that way I can take a little 22 caliber rifle with me also. Because I'd want to use that 22 caliber rifle for securing meat sources before I would jump to this. This is going to be my security. This is not necessarily going to be my food getter unless I absolutely need it to be. A 22 caliber rifle, I can carry 500 or 1,000 bullets very easily in this kit, and not so much with a 223 or a 5.56. Those bullets are heavier, they're bigger, they take up a lot more space, and not to mention they're more expensive. So we save that for defense. Use a 22 caliber rifle for food gathering if need be. Anyhow, this is eNeil79 with the survivalist mindset. It's giving you a quick look at the Bugout bag contents. Remember, the only certainty in life is change. God bless you all. I appreciate all your views and support, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.